here we are for another weekly AI news roundup video. Last week was 15 videos and about 6 hours of content. Maybe one of them didn't get parsed. I'm not sure. I did listen to a couple long form ones. Anyway, for those of you that are new here, terrible intro, but I'm the CTO and co-founder of Aerion Technologies. We're a software development consulting firm. I'm doing my best to stay on top of all the AI news and everything that's happening in the space, so then I can help deliver solutions to our clients, people like yourselves, as well as share this information to the team. I started doing this so I could share all the information that I'm consuming with the team, because it makes sense for one person to watch this much stuff, not 40. And then I thought I might as well put this on YouTube and share it with everyone else, because why not? So here we go. This is a script that AI has generated based on everything that I've watched and listened to in the past week. So I haven't read this script before, so we're going through it for the first time. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Roundup. This week I dove deep into a spectrum of videos covering everything from debunking headlines about failing AI pilots to breakthrough innovations like GraphRAG and on-device smartphones. I also explored discussions on AI ethics and consciousness, as well as new approaches. Those consciousness discussions are pretty interesting. I'll touch on that once it comes up. I won't jump ahead. I also do this while I'm drinking my morning coffee. It's a good way for me to remember the news and things that have happened. Rethinking corporate AI and market narratives. I started with a video titled, No, 95% of AI pilots aren't failing. I did touch on this last week. I'll get to my thoughts further down. Where the host uncovered how a controversial MIT study has been misinterpreted, stirring undue fear about AI's viability in organizations. It turns out that the failure isn't in the tech itself. It's often about poor leadership and buy-in and change management. Well, realistically, it is always about change management. You can deliver the best software, and unless an organization takes control of how it's going to deploy it, you've got your internal champions and things are running, it's not going to work. You'd expect a lot of pilots to fail because they're experiments. If the experiments all work, are you raising the bar high enough? Are you trying enough complicated things? Are you actually trying to push the technology and get something working where it shouldn't be? Like, if every pilot succeeded, you've got a problem. If every pilot failed, you've got a problem. Having 95% as reported was a problem. What I uncovered through a couple of these videos is not many people have actually seen this final report. It hasn't been shared by MIT. You have to submit a mailing list. That video that 95% of AI pilots are failing, no, they're not. That video, the guy mentioned he submitted the form several times and still hasn't seen it. Apparently they were targeting sales and marketing people. They're only going to be targeting sales and marketing functions within the business. You don't want all your pilots succeeding or failing, as I mentioned. You need to have a mix match. You need to be pushing the technology and assume that it can do something, even though it's not there yet. And that pilot will fail now. Then when you retry it again in 6 months, it'll probably pass with flying colors, because that's how fast AI technology is moving. And then again, if everything that you're testing is passing, are you trying stuff complicated enough? Are you going to get enough value from what those experiments prove? And then once you do understand whether it does or does not work, how are you actually going to get this rolled out to an organization? How are you going to roll this out to your team? What's the process? What's your change management process like? People don't like change. So what are you going to do to get that rolled out and delivered to people so they actually see the benefit of what you're trying to deliver? And again, larger organizations, bigger problems, there's more people, more layers in the way. And you have to get the management and the executives to buy in and push it. It doesn't help just having an executive say, all right, we've got to do AI, and then delegate that. And then the managers aren't really bought in, but they're forced to keep their jobs. And that's not going to be the most effective change. They may do pilots then where they're going to fail, so then they don't have to go and implement it. So all these different things that are affecting it, but that pilot is a bit flawed. I think it's just a lot of commotion and community noise, and then articles and news sites just picking it up and pushing it out because it's a good headline to try and promote and say AI is doing nothing, but look how much money they're spending. But it's flawed. It's just clickbait, really. I probably have to try and read this report as well and see if I can find it as well and give a better opinion on it, but that's where I stand on that so far. Breakthrough innovations and next-gen technologies. Innovation was a central theme this week. Emil Ephraim's talk on GraphRAG showcased how merging knowledge graphs with retrieval augmented generation can set a new standard for accurate, explainable AI responses. The GraphRAG, this is a bit more technical for those of you out there. This is a way how you retrieve information. So RAG is retrieval augmented generation, which means when you ask the model a question, It may then go and find through what's called a vector database, which stores representations of text in a mathematical way in a 3D space. It then searches for the similar text to what you've provided it. And what it does is find the words that are similar, or a chunk of words, is the way they term it. And GraphRAG, then once you do that, you then go and retrieve all the bits of information that you retrieved, go and retrieve all the other information and relationships that have come with it. So now you can provide more data and enrich that further to get better results. That's something that we're looking at on several client projects and our own internal project on how we operate and further enhance the context that's given. All of that falls within what we call context engineering, which is what prompt engineering was called 2 weeks ago. Then there was a selection of different advancements from game-changing editing tools like Quinn Image Edit and Tiny Banana, which everyone is speculating came from Google. You might go on YouTube and type in Tiny Banana and see a lot of clickbait titles saying this is going to kill Photoshop. It will at some point. It's not there yet. New hardware breakthroughs. So on the Google Pixel phones that were released last week, so the Pixel, Pixel 10 Pro, and the Pixel 10 Fold, they have a new Tensor chip, which is Tensor G5. So this is now a dedicated AI processing chip, which they've had for a while. I remember making a video about this probably 2019 maybe. About their Tensor chips, and then they had all this AI stuff. But now they're on the 5th generation of that, which means they can run stuff locally on your device, not have to go to the cloud. And from a couple of other little snippets and TikTok shorts, reels that I saw, a lot of people are saying that they absolutely nailed the AI rollout in their phones. And it's like, that's what they wish Apple Intelligence, or Apple wishes Apple Intelligence was. So Google's absolutely nailed that apparently. I've got a Samsung Fold, not a Pixel Fold, but I won't be able to experience that. AI's impact on business models and workplaces. On the business side, the conversation got strategic in how is AI different than other technology waves. The speakers drew parallel between past technology revolutions and today's AI awakening, emphasizing shifts towards outcome-based business models. Matt Garman's deep dive on the future of white-collar jobs provided fascinating insights in how AI is not just automating tasks, but reshaping coding practices and infrastructure from silicon innovations to agent-based workflows. And then there's Skywork, an all-in-one productivity agent that promises to consolidate tools like ChatGPT, Notion, Manus, and making everyday work more efficient. Every day there's a new AI release, there's a new platform that's meant to bring everything together and do it. Again, these are all generalized systems. Your mileage may vary on what you're doing and what you're testing with. Some things may work, some things may not. Some of your pilots may fail, but AI is similar to this boom. I think there was Sam Altman even said there's an AI bubble right now, and then their CFO rolled out and said, no, that's not what he meant. And they had to backtrack on that a bit. There is a lot of investment going on in AI. From what I saw last week or the week before, like in the American economy, they would be in a recession if it wasn't for the amount of money being put into AI investment. That's what's lifted the GDP and kept them out of recession. And that's probably true because of so much money that's being thrown into it. But I would sort of beg to differ on the point that .com boom, you had like, what was pets.com is the famous $100 million for a pet ordering website when there wasn't even that many people online. There was no value generated from that business except for the people that owned it. This is actually generating value in businesses every day and making things more efficient. And no one is really using it properly. Like everyone's trying to figure out how to use this stuff still. It's only been 2 years since ChatGPT launched. Like it is a bubble, it is a wave, but it's different, I believe, because of the value and how it affects everything. Okay, next section. Exploring AI consciousness and ethics. Here we go. Ethics and the nature of AI got a lot of attention this week. A video titled Microsoft AI CEO warns seemingly conscious AI is coming, made for some alarming yet fascinating viewing, discussing whether advanced chatbots could start exhibiting traits that make them seem almost human. This conversation dovetails with debates from Anthropic update on Claude, highlighting how quickly the frontier of AI safety and alignment is blurring the lines between simulation that we might call consciousness. So Anthropic rolled out something, they called it something consciousness, I'm not sure exactly, but they gave the chat the ability to cancel conversations if it was deemed like inappropriate or we didn't like it. These systems are not conscious. There is no way. They're statistic probabilistic systems. All they're doing, like it still is realistically just autocomplete. It is just telling you sentences that make sense based on what you've told it, based on what it's seen on the internet. It is not thinking and making up stuff. When you give it tools, all you're doing is augmenting its ability to go and find more information or have that information structured differently without having to calculate it. In one of the videos I saw where they were asking about how Claude calculates maths. So if you do 7 times 3, it knows the answer is 21 because it's been trained on that. It's not calculating that. But then what it does is it goes backwards and makes up the working out to show you how it calculated that, rather than calculating it first and then getting the answer. So it does it backwards because it's not thinking, it's not going through that process. Whether that in the future seems like it's more realistic, which is unfeasible because you're not going to know the answer to something before you start it. But these systems don't think. And then a video I listened to this week, which will probably be touched on next week, this morning, was someone wrote an article, I can't remember who he was, some CEO, saying these AI systems should be built for people, not as people. Shouldn't treat them like people. You're not going to go into the point where we go into movies and you start having these AI with rights and things like that. These systems need to be tools to help us do our things better and allow us to work faster and spend time on higher quality, better value things. They're just computer systems, programs. I know there's no real clear definition of what consciousness is, because is that what we see in animals where a dog or a cat or something can detect themselves in a mirror? Is that consciousness? Is it chimpanzees who have whole entire communities and relationships? We know we're conscious. I know I can think in my head, but you don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. How do I know you're conscious? Like, these are the questions these people are asking, which, if we don't have a clear definition of consciousness, then what does that mean for trying to define what a computer's consciousness is? And then trying to give a computer program rights. It's going to go into some weird spaces. And then a lot of people are saying that the way Claude is phrasing this is making people think that they're conscious when they're not. They may look seemingly like they're conscious, but they're not. So they should have used better words to just say protect security, which means these conversations are stopping because they don't want people to say, find a way to jailbreak it and tell it how to make a bomb. Like, that's probably all they're really doing, but they've just given it this phrase under the disguise of consciousness to try and hide what they're actually doing, which would have been better if they just said it's for security purposes. Evaluating and predicting the future of AI. Last but not least, I checked out 2 videos that tackled evaluation and prediction. Some videos stress the effective AI development goes way beyond good prompts. It's about designing an entire agile evaluation system that adapts to new models. So that video is all about prompt evaluations and how you should be ready to evaluate a new prompt the minute a model drops to be able to work on things and get it better. I agree with having good prompt evaluations. That's something that we're bringing into projects that are using it now. It's an easy way to test, validate and benchmark against different models, as well as seeing how fast the models are with your prompt. So you get a tokens per second and a cost. Because you may not pick the most expensive best model, you may pick the second one because there's a 15-20% cost saving and you get 96% of the value compared to the 100%, and it does the same thing. Like, you now have data to base that decision and evaluation on. And then there's an intriguing Can the AI Predict the Future video where researchers at the University of Chicago present Profit Arena. The platform uses live prediction markets to evaluate AI's ability to forecast real-world events, challenging traditional benchmarks and suggesting a new frontier in predictive intelligence. Honestly, I can't remember what this one was. I think I was gardening outside when I was listening to that podcast and I must have been paying attention. It was just turned into white noise. It's statistical probability, like, to predict an event is the same as predicting the winner of a sports game. Who's going to win this soccer match? Who's going to win this horse race? Have enough past data, have enough information to make a realistic prediction on it. I don't know what else I can say about that one. Closing thoughts. All in all, this week's video reminded me that while headlines can often sting with dire warnings and dazzling promises, clickbait, the real story is in the details. Of course, listen to them, make an informed decision, understand what's happening, and decide yourself what you want to do. Whether it's understanding how organizational challenges shape AI success, celebrating breakthrough innovation, or addressing the ethical and evaluative dimensions of a technology that's evolving faster than ever. I hope this roundup equips you with a balanced view of where AI and tech stand today and where they're headed next. Thanks for watching and excited to share more insights with you next. As usual, I'd love to see any comments about any of the things I talked about, on what your opinions are. Again, if you've got any feedback on how I can improve this sort of series, Again, it's mainly for my team, but I share it out there so then people get information with it. It helps me re-solidify these thoughts and things that I've watched in my mind. Most of them, except for one of them, I don't even remember. So this is a good process for me to remember that stuff and then be able to recall it again during the week and tell people. And again, if you've got any improvements or tips on how I can make this a bit more engaging, or if you're not enjoying it, I'd love to hear that. Let me know. Otherwise, until next week, good luck keeping up with everything.